Hi guys, Ryu here from Blender Bros, and in this video I will show you how to combine Boolean workflow with subdivision workflow. And this is going to be a really simple example, so you're going to be able to grasp the basics and sort of how it works and what to pay attention to. Nothing complicated, we're just going to take it easy and create something cool, okay? So now subdivision workflow can be done in many ways in Blender. One of them is going to be, just grabbing a plane and simply extruding some edges on different axes. And, this is more of a traditional way of working when you just try to scale something or move things around and, create some really interesting shape. That's going to be really nice and smooth. Now the thing is that this is a bit abstract and may not be very beginner friendly, because when you start, working with stuff and extruding stuff, you can get really easily confused and disoriented. So it requires a bit of a practice. However, this is a very powerful workflow if you want to create something that it's nearly impossible or basically impossible with regular Boolean workflow, due to the way the shapes are basically curving. Like, this is really difficult, would be really difficult to achieve that out of a cube, even if you use lattice. It's just a lot of work, right? So there's a place for this kind of a workflow, and this will be fantastic for creating like armor pieces or stuff like that. But I want to show you something different today. We're going to be using a cube, and we will be basically using booleans with that cube. So hard ops, box cutter, machine tools, mesh machine workflow, right? And then we're gonna convert it to SUBD. And I want to show you a few things that are important and things you should pay attention to when you do that. You can create some really cool stuff. Very quick one before we start, guys. There are free educational materials for hard surface in Blender or blenderbros.com. So go ahead, there is a link in the video description. You can find their PDF files, books, courses, guides, etc. And they are both on vanilla content and add-on workflows. Everything for hard surface is there. So go ahead to our website, blenderbros.com, and get started. All right, so let's grab this cube and scale it on X, and then let's scale it on Y to do something like this. Maybe that's a bit too thick. Maybe let's make it a bit thinner and a bit wider. There we go, that's better. And then we're going to apply scale. Now scale is important because if you don't apply scale, right? So if you go to item here, you can see that our scale is different on each axis because we scale this object in object mode. If I did it in edit mode, this wouldn't be affected. Now, because this is non-uniform, you will be getting some weird results with bevels, for example, when you're going to be trying to do anything. So let's just Control A that in object mode and apply scale, okay? So now, it's going to work as intended, right? So we're going to grab this and Control B that, and we're going to press C to clamp it so it doesn't go through. And we're going to add, look here on the bottom, we're going to add, let's say, 6 segments, okay? So it's going to be 6 segments on each side. In fact, I think that's a bit too many, but we can always decimate it manually if you want to in the future by selecting every second, edge on this mesh here on this bevel and simply dissolving it, which will halve the bevel to a lower resolution, right? So this is going to be 3 segments on each side, right? Here too, we can grab that and create a bevel. We could go with how many we have here? With 6 maybe is okay. Always remember to maintain even number of segments. It's really important. If you have uneven number of segments, you won't be able to select every second one of them in the middle, and you won't be able to properly decimate this bevel. Now I'm gonna be using mesh machine for symmetry, which is basically Alt X in edit mode, and you move your mouse into direction in which you want to symmetrize it. So in my case, to the right. But you can do it with hard ops if you don't have mesh machine. This is the only thing I'm gonna be using mesh machine today for, so don't stress. You can go to Alt X in object mode, press D, go to symmetry, and it's going to be the same thing, okay? So you can use that. Now, we're not going to be applying bevel to it as usual because we're going to be converting this to SUBD, so I'm not going to be applying any bevels. We also don't need auto smooth because you don't use auto smooth with subdivision. So quite frankly, I'm just gonna work on a faceted mesh, you know, and I'm gonna be smoothing it out until later. So now we're gonna be cutting a hole in here, and I wanna cut this hole, you know, really in the middle here precisely. And to do that, I'm gonna be using snapping dots from Box Cutter. And if you wanna watch a video, in-depth video about snapping dots and grid, I released the video like a few days ago, so go ahead and watch it. It's a really good one. This will allow you to understand how the precision cuts work in Box Cutter. So let's go to D menu and grab a circle, and we're gonna just hold Control. You can see now I can draw my circle directly in the middle here, but I want to draw it somewhere here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this vert and shift click this one, press J to merge them together, and this will move my dot over here, which is exactly what I want. So I'm gonna draw a circle here like that, and I don't want to make it too big, I don't want it too small. I don't make it just right, so it's sort of, you know, sort of matches this kind of a distance here on. Now, really important to understand is that you need to match the number of segments of the cut inside with the number of segments outside. So it's going to be really easy to connect these two without a lot of hassle. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold shift and we're going to scroll down to decrease the number of segments. See that? Until they match. You see that now they match, right? The corners match. So this one has 12 segments, right? And this one has 3 and 3, and then 3 and 3, which together is 12. So it's the same number of segments, and simply click. And when you apply that, you know, you're gonna be able to very easily connect these and create quads without any problem, okay? Here we're gonna cut it with an n-gon, so switch from circle to n-gon, and we're gonna simply draw an n-gon here. Now, it forces us to draw an angle. What we can do is go to D menu and switch the n-gon angle increments to 5, and then it's going to be a little bit more, you know, refined. We can just adjust it to whichever angle we want. So it's going to be 5, 10 degrees, and let's cut that like that, and boom, and we're going to get something like this. Okay, so now from the top view, Shift V and click this Align View in Ortho, which will allow you to cut in view orientation when you're in orthographic setting. So normally, if you're in perspective, you can draw on any surface because you aligned to object, right? But when you're gonna be in orthographic, you can start drawing in view mode, which is what we want. So align yourself here on the top, and we're gonna be drawing from this corner here like this, right? Then we're gonna press B for bevel, and we're gonna have 2, 4, 6 segments, okay? And then just press click and then G and move it. You can also press tab to pause it here. And we're going to press E and draw it down and up, and then press Alt E to enter the exact Boolean mode, okay? Which will cut through, okay? So when I'm gonna recover this Boolean, you will see that this Boolean here is not fast, but exact solver, right? That's important. All right, and this is kind of cool. I like that, and I think we can live with this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hide this, right? So Shift 2. Now let's go to side view, okay? Let's go to D and n-gon, right? So switch from box to n-gon. And cut this shape here, okay, maybe a little bit shallower like this here, like that, okay, and just cut through. All right, let's apply this. So Smart Apply, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Edit Mode, grab these edges, right, and we're going to bevel them with a bevel of 4 segments. Okay, so let's see that. Now see, because we have clamping on, so the C is on, it will not overshoot. So press C to clamp it, and you're gonna clamp it here. And create a 4 segmented bevel here, so it's gonna flow nicely. And we're gonna do the same thing on the top. So, you know, 4 segmented bevel, that's cool. and we're done. All right, cool. So now what I want to do is I want to come here and select this bit here, okay, and select this this bit here, right, and Control B that, and I want to chamfer it, okay, like this. But you see that I'm getting this pull here, right, on this edge, and this is because these two are not combined. So let's combine them with 1 using machine tools, and here 1, okay, and the same thing on the other side is good. And then we can symmetrize it to the other side with mesh machine, okay, and this should do. So now let's try it again. Click and alt click with machine tools. Let's just shift click here and click around, and we can Control B that to chamfer that like this, mirror to the other side, right? And I also want to have chamfer here, so click and alt click, and this actually didn't go through for some reason, which means there are double verts in here somewhere. Let me see that. There we go. So press 3 to clean it, and this should solve our problem. There we go. Now for this tool, the cleanup tool, to work in machine tools, you need to actually have it enabled. So if you go to machine tools, right, here, these are my settings, okay, these are the tools I'm using. So smart vert, smart face, cleanup, that's the one. And these are my pies, okay, so copy that, and now it should work. So click, alt click, there we go, selected the whole edge around. This is a machine select, really cool. And we can run a Control B here, a chamfer, right? So let's run a chamfer here, right, and click, alt click, and let's run a chamfer here as well, okay, and we're good to go, right? So now what we need to do is we need to actually prep this mesh for SUBD, which is really easy because all we need to do is connect these edges. So let's go to Q, and let's go to Edit Multi-Tool with hard ups. And when you press J, okay, you can press H to reveal the menu, by the way. You're gonna have this connect tool, and what you do is you click on a vert, you hold your mouse, and you point to another vert and click again, okay? Click, drag, click, click, drag, click. It's really quick, okay? This is how you connect verts really quickly, all right? So do it here. Let's do it here properly, all right? Okay, when you finish, what you do is press space, okay, to apply it. This one needs to be removed, so dissolve it, and then mirror to the other side, okay? So that's done. But that's, we're not done yet. We need to connect all these, right? I'm not sure if this is not too dense. Maybe we can just, sort of select these and dissolve it, and I think it's gonna be enough. Same here, maybe it's too dense, so I just select every second edge here. Hang on a second, this one and this one, right? And then, whoa, and dissolve. There we go. And to be honest, we could kind of probably combine these two into one. So I'm selecting them with Shift and pressing Shift 1 to combine them, okay? And I think this is gonna work. And we're gonna, mirror this to the other side, right? So, and the way to run a bevel on this mesh now, right, would be to select all these edges. So click and alt click, and then we're going to press Control B, okay? Then you're gonna press scroll 1, 2, 3 segments, right? And then you're gonna press P to select profile. And when you move your mouse left and right, you can actually adjust the profile. Move your mouse to the right and then press A, and this will allow you to sort of create a security loop around your edge. Click, alt click, Control B, hold Shift, and do the same thing on every single edge. We need a security edge around all these edges here, okay? This is really important, right? So select all these edges, and here too, boom, right? And Control B, and just bevel them, okay? Like this, right? Same here, click, alt click, and Control B, click, alt click, and Control B, okay? We need proximity loops, all right? So all these edges are secured more or less, and if I'm gonna run a Control 3 now with Subdivision, it should work, but you still see that we're getting a lot of pulls. And the reason for that is because basically we need to secure all these crazy n-gons that are running in here. However, because we are on a flat surface, you don't really need to worry too much about the topology, okay? You can have triangles here and even n-gons. So now we're going to be connecting this stuff, and we can actually turn off subdivision in edit mode so we can see better. We can click this button here. You can switch it off in edit mode, right? So now I'm going to be working with knife. So press K for knife, and we're going to be running knife here, right? That's a flat surface here, so we can do that. Go around with your mesh, okay? And where is it? Jesus. Here. And combine this here like this, okay? So that's one, right? Not very clean, actually. Let's just drop a loop. Control R here to drop a loop, right? And let's GG and move it in here and combine these two, J, and combine these two, J. Like I said, don't worry too much about topology here because it really doesn't matter. This is, you know, this, for example, could be connected like this with triangles. It doesn't really matter because, again, it's a flat surface, guys. It doesn't matter, okay? It's a flat surface, and this surface is also secured by this edge here, you see? This edge secures, okay, this curvature and the bevel. So as long as you don't need to add another detail here on the surface, you can have as many triangles here as you want. It doesn't matter, okay? You could run quads here, but you just don't have to. Okay, this is the beauty of this. So now here we're gonna go with knife and click here and press A to cut through. Click, right click, and then click, right click, click, right click, and the same shit here and here, okay? And spacebar. And we need to continue that, unfortunately. So, you know, continue like this, and like this, and like this, and this, and like this, okay? So it's connected, right? Here the same thing, Control R here, and let's just split it. So Control B, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this should do, right? And all we need to do now is just simply connect them. So J, 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 and J, okay? Same here, simply connect them. J, J. Because it's a flat surface, it doesn't matter how it runs, okay? So I don't have to worry about it. So if you don't need to add any more details or don't need to bend this surface, it just completely doesn't matter, right? Now here, what we could do is run another loop here, right? Split it into 3, GY, and move it in here. And just combine this here. Okay. And the same thing here. And here we can just do the same thing, guys, alright? So just, you know, combine like that. You could actually select all 3 and this one with Shift, go to Q, Operations, and Start Connect if you have Mesh Machine installed. And you're done. And mirror to the other side. And now, when I'm gonna go to SUBD, look how clean that is, okay? It's just, you know, clean as hell. The reason why this is messed up, because we simply didn't connect these. So again, go to edit multi-tool and simply press J and, you know, run these edges here, right? And then we can just do the same thing on the bottom. Space, copy to the other side, done. And there you go, you got the SUBD mesh, okay? You know, and if you wanted to keep modeling this, you could, for example, start adding stuff here in the middle, you know, like that. Go with EM macro, right? Bring it in, select this thing in the middle here, and SX, and scale it. Select all the edges. Control B, and scroll to 3 segments, and you could make it as soft as you want. And you know, mirror to the other side, and you could keep going. You know, if you want, for example, I don't know, some holes in here, what you could do is grab all these edges here, or in fact what we could do is run a loop around, okay, around here in the middle. So let's select these 3, okay, and then Q and circle, and scroll to 8 segments, I think. I mean 8 vertices is enough, and switch to new method here, and let's just decrease the number of segments to, I think 8 is enough. Yeah, 8 is good. So let's go with that. And we don't really need these dots in the middle, so just dissolve the verts. And what you need to do now is just connect these, right? So all you do is go to, again, Edit Mesh Tool, J, and you simply connect them here. And create quads. Very easy, right? Space, and then we need to connect these, right? So what we can do is simply run it in here. It's okay, right? And you're gonna have quads. So then you grab these, right? You grab these with Alt and Shift, and then let's just insert it. So I to insert and E to extrude. And then let's switch here to individual origins, scale this, right? So they're gonna be tapered, and then let's just Control B that. And all we need to do is actually add a, loop here. In fact, let's just add loops all over the place, and then we're going to move them together. So Shift Alt click, and then GG and move them up, okay? And you got holes, right? Really cool ones. And then you can copy to the other side with Mesh Machine. Now let's say if you wanted to, for example, introduce a chamfer here, right, on these. You can do this very easy, watch this. So what we need to do is select these with Alt and Shift Alt, right? So what you need to do now is simply dissolve them, right? Select these, okay? And then Control B them, right? And you got yourself a chamfer. So once you understand how it all works, it's really easy to sort of manipulate with shapes and create some cool stuff using HardUp. Same here, you could just kind of drop it down and create a bit of a wider chamfer. So let's drop it down here like this, and taper it up like that, right? So this edge here is going to taper off down, but when you bring this one with it, okay, this will bring the chamfer with it down. So GG, and see what I mean? Then copy to the other side, dissolve this edge in the middle, right? So dissolve the edge, and you should be good to go. Yeah, you see now this chamfer sort of tapers down. You need to fix it here to make it more uniform. What you could do is, for example, you could use the relax option from Blender, which will relax the verts on the way. So let me just see here. I just try to slide them around to, make them a bit more uniform. And you see that how this edge now tapers off here and becomes a larger chamfer in front, which is a pretty cool effect. That's a way to work with SUBD and Booleans at the same time. Really easy, guys, nothing complicated. And again, when you're on flat surfaces like this, okay, and you will not be doing anything here, it doesn't matter what kind of topology you have. You see, I have an n-gon here. No one gives a shit because it doesn't matter. You could run an edge here, okay, and you could then, combine these into together, and then you're gonna have a quad, right? But genuinely, it just doesn't matter. You could, you could keep working the topology here and keep fixing it, right? And try for quads. But again, it doesn't bloody matter, because if you're not gonna be bending this, okay, you do not need quads here. You just triangles are fine. Even n-gons are working, as you can see. Granted, when you apply this, right? So when you apply the subdivision, this place is going to be a bit of a mess, right? You're going to have poles, you're going to have all kind of stuff. Just going to look a bit cleaner. So again, it depends what you want to do with the mesh, right? But like I said, on flat surfaces, just like you have n-gons in regular game assets. So again, guys, on the flat surfaces, you don't really need to do anything fancy, because as long as you have these supporting edges here, okay, these ones, right? And they hold this bevel and the SUBD on curved surfaces, you're fine. So, you know, all you need to pay attention to is curved surfaces, and you're good to go. And if you do not want to do anything with flat surfaces, you're fine. Now, if you want to add some more intricate detail, you're probably gonna have to work this topology a bit better, because what you need to do is you need to add one level of subdivision. Let's say, you know, just one level of subdivision to have a smaller topology to work with, right? Like this. And then you can start creating some more intricate detail in your mesh, okay? And then you run one more subdivision on top of it. But that's a bit more advanced, and you know, you will need to definitely clean that up and create a bit more uniform topology for that. But like I said, in this case, it doesn't really matter what you're gonna do here, because it's a flat surface, right? So it doesn't matter. Alright guys, well that's it. If you would like to see a bit more of SUBD workflow, let me know. I can prep something cool for you, and we're gonna run another video. Now, we do have a lot of free studying materials for you guys, and you can grab them from our website on blenderbros.com. So just hop on our website and get whatever you need. There are PDF files, tutorials, courses, all kinds of materials for add-on workflow, Blender vanilla workflow, anything you need really, including texturing. So there's a ton of stuff over there on our website, and you can, you know, go ahead and check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.